Hello and welcome to day 2 of the unscripted, unedited, day-by-day ball python breeding project that I'm, Ryan White, am going to be going through with all of you. For today we kind of I messed up on the first day. It was my first time streaming, so forgive me please. What I went through was a little bit of the background history, how I got some of the animals and that. What I'd like to do today is I'm going to show you my setup I have right now, explain how I started, where I am right now, and what the game plan is. This could be helpful if you are setting up for your own ball pythons, or if you see something that's kind of out of whack, just let me know, or if you see something that's interesting, possibly something I can improve on, leave it in the comments below. Without further ado, here we go. We'll look at the setup I have at the moment. Alright, so this is the rack system I have right now. Forgive the decorations. The wife is a little bit antsy for setting up for Christmas. Halloween just passed a little while ago. Unfortunately, due to tempo, and we had over a nephew who was scared of decorations, she couldn't decorate as much as she wanted to. So we're going to be doing the Christmas decorations a little bit early this year and a little bit more excessive. Hopefully not like the Griswolds, but we will see. Alright, so with the setup I have here, as you can see, it's on a rack system that I've purchased from Canadian Tire. The purchase was a sale purchase. Regular price, I remember it's Canadian, was about $190. I picked up that rack on sale for $129. Now the rack dimensions 72 by 48 by 24. The Rubbermaid bins that you see there were purchased at Walmart for, I believe, about 16 bucks a pop. And the smaller ones there, I do not know. As mentioned before, in the first video, I ended up acquiring some snakes from a separate person who was going to get into breeding, but did not have the time to, and they're moving to a different area where they will not be able to. So with the rack system I have here, as you can see, I have the Vivarium VE200 thermostat. Right now it's set at 88 degrees. On the background, there's heat tape lining on all of the shelving units, as you can see behind there. And the node for the thermostat I have on the bottom set of heat tape down here. You will notice there's two different nodes. The reason for that is when I picked up the new batch of ball pythons, or the newer batch of ball pythons, they are older, they came with a Herpstat 1, but when I plugged that in, it didn't work, and the reason for that is it had a blown fuse. I have ordered more fuses on Amazon, and I'm waiting them to return, at which point I will have a backup hopefully I can use when I start doing reptile shows. Now, when I initially started, this is the setup I had for the 4 ball pythons I had. I apologize for the shaky video. It's a crappy phone camera I have right now. With that setup, as you can see, I am using a heat mat rather than heat tape. But again, it's still plugged into a thermostat. You want to ensure that you use a thermostat. Once again, I'm using the Vivarium Electronics VE200 right there. Works well. It's set on pulse right now, and I have no issues. Aside with that, I use thermometers. As you can see on the front of this one right here, thermometers were purchased on Amazon. They're pretty cheap. It was 4 for about 20 bucks. Has the humidity and the temperature. This one here, I have it set on the heat mat. I will show you in a moment. The other ones are set on each level of the rack system. The tape is not holding the greatest, but we'll get that up there. I got to figure out a different way. Right now I'm holding it with tape. If you have any ideas on how to adhere that, let me know and I'll figure something out. Possibly zap straps or something to keep it a little bit more secure. With those, the temperature nodes are located on the heat tape itself in order to ensure the proper temperature. The only one that's lacking is this shelf right here. The reason I don't have Juno, who's in that tank right there, up on the rack in the open spot, is the container itself is too wide by about an inch. I'm looking for a little bit narrower so I can slide in 3 extra full-size shelvings. With these snakes, I'll show you on Omaha's. So I have the name of the snake right there, which is the name I've given it. The type of snake, this one is a pied, possible het for lavender albino. It's a male, and I obtained this one in August 2019. Some of these will not have that. They'll just have the type and gender. Just because these ones are purchased, I'm not sure how old they are. This cinnamon apparently is approximately 10 years old. The weights I'm going to do monthly, they're here, so I have the month and the weight. On these ones, right here, month and the weight. That way I can keep track, make sure they're eating, make sure the females are the proper weight before they start breeding. Now this system here, hey Burry, how's it going? There's my dog right there, Australian cattle dog, Burry. You should get out of the way for a sec, puppy. Now with this, the wife isn't a huge fan of snakes, so she likes to have a little bit extra tape on there. It is not required, but it gives her a bit of peace of mind, and a happy wife is a happy life. So I will not argue, and I'll go from there. So within this setup here, currently I'm using aspen shavings. With some of the other setups as seen in here, there's coconut shavings. I plan to go to coconut. I have ordered an 11-pound block of coconut fiber off of Amazon. Once it arrives, I will be changing all of these enclosures over to coconut. It'll tend to absorb the moisture a little better and keep the humidity up. The way I have this set up, and the reason I'm not worried about humidity, you will see. The water dish located right here, keep the clean water in daily. I have a shelter on the cool side. I have a shelter on the warm side with the temperature node right there to give an accurate reading. And this box right here, I keep on the warm side as well. You can see the humidity through there. This is a humidity box. What we're using inside of the humidity box is sphagnum moss. And inside we have the Lemon Blast, which is a pinstripe pastel. This one here, her name is Juno. She's fairly friendly. I don't know why she's balling up right now. That's actually not like her. There we go. Good girl. Absolutely beautiful snake. Absolutely beautiful eyes. I will get a higher quality camera for the next video. I apologize, and we'll go through snake by snake. This time I just wanted to take you through the rack system I have set up, and we'll go from there. And inside the sphagnum moss is damp, not soaked through, but just damp. And this helps the humidity, which helps the shaving, which helps the respiratory system of the snake itself. And I recommend for ball python setups, especially for juveniles. And all you need is a small entrance hole right here where the snake can go in and come out as required. It's a little bit of a larger enclosure that most people would recommend for a small ball python. I have had these young ones in this size enclosures since I've obtained them. They have all been eating well. They have had no issues, and I haven't had a problem since, so knock on wood. Hopefully everything stays well. Now, when I initially purchased the 4 snakes, which would be the 4 small ones in containers like this, I did not have heat tape. I could not find heat tape like that to run in my area without having to travel a fair distance, and I couldn't find anything online that was in Canada. So I went on Amazon once again, and I ordered in heat pads. I ordered in 4 heat pads, Exoterra, and used them on the bottom of these bins to cover off approximately 1/4, 1/3-ish of the bottom side of the bin. With that, I had all the heat pads plugged into a thermostat, and the thermostat node going into one of the heat pads. So I can regulate the temperature that way. Not an ideal way to do it, but it worked for the purposes I was using it for. The major drawback I found of using the heat pads on these types of containers, they did not adhere well at all to the container. I had to use tape around the edges in order to keep it on the container. I am not a huge fan of heat pads. If I could avoid it, I would in the future. If you're getting into it, I'd strongly advise, unless you're only doing one tank, to use a heat tape. If you're using one tank, heat pad shouldn't be a problem. Just keep in mind it doesn't adhere well to these types of products. Maybe it was just the brand of Exoterra I used, but I was not a huge fan of that at all. The heat tape seems to be working quite well. They're in series right now, just working down. Clips have the plastic covers on them, good to go. Make sure that there's no contacts on the metal shelving or anything like that. The shelving unit itself is metal on the bars and melamine wood, which is covered quite nice. And it is quite a nice shelf for just over $100. I have no complaints at all. So that's the video for today, showing the basic ball python setup I have. Once again, we will be going through the different types of snakes and a little bit more information as we go. We will be pairing them up more. Hopefully we'll be able to see them locking. If you have any questions or advice for myself, by all means, feel free to ask or inquire or inform me. Again, I'm not the most photogenic person. I'm not the best at these videos, but you can only do what you can do, and I'm giving her a go. Hopefully you can learn something. Hopefully I can learn something from this whole thing. That's all I have for today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Hopefully the coconut fibers will be in and we can go through cleaning of one of these environments, followed by going through the actual snakes, their genetics, what I'm going to pair with what, and what the expectations will be. And we will go from there. In the meantime, have a great day. Thank you very much for visiting. Please give a thumbs up, subscribe. Any support you can give would be fantastic. As we go, as the support grows, if I can sell some of these babies off there, get a little bit of profit, you will see the system start to develop. You will see the snake rack starting to, hopefully I can get a professional one sorted out, start getting into a little bit better of a setup here. This isn't bad, it's a little bit Mickey Mouse, but for all intents and purposes, it's doing quite well. It doesn't look bad at all. I'm happy with it. The snakes are doing very well. I'm very happy with that. And that, again, is the most important thing. Take it easy. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.